Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I am so excited about this live today. I'm going to teach very simply on the live tonight why women play small in business, why we might be playing small in business, although we're talented and smart and sharp in many ways in terms of using our craft and our talent. And we know that we can create results for others, but when it comes to standing in our value, charging our worth, going for the big, we make excuses and we play small. That's what I'm going to talk about tonight. I'm so excited to have the opportunity just to be able to share with you my opinion about why I think women play small. I've coached thousands of women over the last 21 years as a consultant. And one thing I know for sure is that women often are capable of doing way more things than they give themselves permission and credit to do. And if you know that that's you as you listen to this live tonight, then or today or whenever you're listening to the replay, then I want you to write that is me. Hashtag that is me. Here's my story. When I got started my company over 21 years ago, I decided to uh, go to work as myself. And what I mean by that is, and maybe you feel this way too, I wanted to figure out how could I take what I naturally knew how to do and package it. I had a background as a corporate trainer. I worked for a Fortune 100 company as a trainer, and I was really good at it. But I also had these really unique mom systems that so many women would ask me about. And I decided that I would package my mom systems. And I launched a business as a mom coach, a mom strategist. In my mind, I was thinking, I know that there are tons of women out here that need to know what I need to teach them. This is not a small movement. This is a big movement. I want to create a national movement for moms. I wrote a book, my first book. I've written 3 books, and I decided to get some strategic partners with some brands with that book. And as a result of that, I did a number of partnerships with companies like Panera Bread or Great Harvest Bread Company, the Marriott Corporation, just to name a few, and decided to create a systematic movement for moms. I dreamed big. I took an idea just being myself. And I hope that as I share what my story is, that it'll support you in understanding that it all starts with you seeing that what you know and the impact you can make, not undervaluing what it is that you can bring to the table. Are we clear? As a result of launching my book and creating a movement and building strategic corporate partnerships with brands, a number of things opened up for me. I had an opportunity to get signed to 2 Emmy nominated, nationally syndicated television shows as the mom strategist. And I share this with you not to for any other reason, just to say walking in your purpose is a very powerful place. And it's something that I teach my clients. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. The live today is why women play small in business. And I'm going to break down for you. I've got 7 simple points on my card tonight. That the reasons that I believe women play small. I've coached thousands of women over the last 21 years, and my clients have done amazing things. And then I often notice that there are women who are even more skilled, more educated, more capable, but they don't launch big, or they have a superficial bigness to what they do. And I'm going to break down the reasons why a lot of women, even though they're capable, in my opinion, don't launch or grab the brass ring of success that they desire. So if you're ready, I am ready, okay? And that's a little bit about me. I'm a mom. I have 3 children. When I started my business, my kids were young, 4, 7, and 9.5. And I made a decision that I was going to go to work as myself. And that when my youngest son was in school all day, I would put my entire heart into that business, fast forward, they're 18, 22, and 25. And one of the things that I love about having been an entrepreneur and on this journey is that my kids have had the opportunity to watch me grow myself, and they get to know all of who I am. And I always say, as a mom, as a woman, that, when we have our family members, if you don't do what it is that you love to do, your family, they don't get to know who you are. So I hope that you'll show up tonight for yourself, that there's something that I will say that will shake your shoulders and get you to do something different. That's why I do these lives. All right. So tonight's live is going to be tough. All right. But it's true. These are my opinions of why women play small in business. And if you're ready, I want you to write simply, I am ready. Okay. I am ready. And if you're watching the replay, I want you to join in also. You guys know that I've been watching my lives over the last 15 to 16 years. I love to have an audience, and it doesn't matter where you're watching, what platform it is, or if you're watching the replay, just chime in and let me know your thoughts. All right. So, why do I believe women play small in business? I think number one is that often what I've seen is that the vision is too small. The vision is too small. So there's the thing sometimes that you want to do, and then there's the thing that we talk ourselves out of that we really want to do. So often when women don't understand how are they going to accomplish the thing that's the really big dream, they just make the dream smaller. And one of the reasons that I see so many women play small in business is because the vision is small. Now, here's the problem, in my opinion, with a small vision. When the vision is too small, it doesn't excite you. All right. And also, you have to understand that when you have a huge vision, you aren't going to know every single step of how to solve every aspect of what is in front of you, but you do it anyway. When I think about the opportunities and the doors that I've had the opportunity to walk through, I just, I remember when I got signed to my first television show, I had never done a had never been signed to a television show before. I had never had, your first segment is your first segment, right? And I didn't know if I would have camera presence. I didn't know if I would know what to do, what to say, and when to say it. But taking that opportunity, having that vision and stepping into it gave me the opportunity to see what I was capable of. And I hope that as a result of you hearing this today, that you will trust yourself enough to understand you don't need to have all of the answers. You just need to say yes and then figure it out. And having a vision that's huge, knowing what it is that you really in your heart of hearts want to accomplish, and then just taking it in bite-sized pieces and moving in the direction of that is one of the most exciting things I've ever done in my entire life. It's committing to the small dream that makes you quit. It's committing to the thing that you don't really want. When you say yes to half of what it is that you really want, it's not what you really want. When you say yes to something that's huge, that you've been dreaming about, maybe being a New York Times bestselling author, or maybe getting signed to a television show, or doing your first six figures in a business, hitting your first seven figures in your business. Maybe it's launching your first product, creating your first patent, whatever it is. When you think about something that's really huge that you really want, and you begin to work on those steps toward it, the one thing that has to happen in order for you to accomplish a big vision is you have to grow you. You have to grow your mindset, and you have to grow your capacity to see yourself bigger than you've ever imagined. And it's one of the reasons why I teach women to own their bigness, not from an ego perspective. But what I can tell you is that you are the first sale. And if you don't believe that you can do it, it's the reason why you don't do it. A lot of times we don't do the work on ourselves. We don't put the investment in terms of investing in our mindset, growing what we're reading, learning, growing, being around people who are what I call giants that will encourage you along the way with that big vision. Does this make sense? Is this supporting you? Okay. So the number one reason why I believe that women play small in business is often because they commit to a small vision, although they are capable of so much more. And that small vision will never motivate you like the really big thing that you want to do, but you don't have the answers on how you're going to do every single step. No one does that accomplishes big things. Number two, the second reason that I believe that women play small in business is because you're part of a circle that isn't growing. I'm going to break that down in a minute. Or you're part of a circle that has superficial growth. So let me explain both of those. So if you're part of a circle that isn't growing, it means that you may have friends that really love you, or colleagues that inspire you, but no one's really growing, meaning everyone could be really successful, but not driven to grow and go to that next level of success for themselves, right? Whatever that might look like. And what does growth look like? It means that sometimes people are reading or working on themselves, they're working on their mindset, and what they talk about is different. You know that if you're around people who are growing, because people who are growing always talk about possibility and opportunity, and people who aren't growing typically talk about other people. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes you can look good and you can smell good at a whole other level, but you're broken thoughts. And so I want you to think about your circle right now. And I want you to think about, is your circle growing? If you think about over the last year, what has your circle accomplished? I mean, are you in a network with people who often say, like, let's say, for example, you had an accountability partner and this person is awesome, right? Like an awesome person. And they always say, I'm going to sell something for high ticket. And a year's gone by, they've never done it. Never done it. Okay. They've never done it. Okay. And even though they're in business and even though they state on your accountability calls, so they're going to do it, but they never do it, it means they're not growing. And if you're part of a circle where people aren't growing, but they look like they're growing, I call that a superficial growth. See, people who are really growing, they go and get it. They do what it takes. They work on themselves in many different aspects. And you have to be open, right? When you're looking to grow and you're not looking to make excuses, it means that you're looking to change who you are. You're looking to change your approach and your methods. And a lot of times it's not going to be comfortable for you. And I wanted to talk about this specifically because it's very easy to feel like if you're in a cluster of people that you're in a circle of growth, right? Because maybe everybody's talking about their goals. But at the end of the day, it's not what it looks like. It really was what it is. What are the incremental things that you see, the changes that have been made from one person to the next person and a part of your circle, your accountability group, and whatever it is? How are you guys growing in your language and your elevation around what you speak, right? Or what you're saying and what you're doing as a result of how you guys are encouraging one another? Or is the growth superficial? Lots of women are attracted to superficial growth because then you don't have to do anything. You can remain exactly the same. You know what I mean? You don't have to change. And at the end of the day, everybody feels good because there's no one that's moving ahead. But you want to be in environments that challenge you to grow. Number three, the third reason why I believe that women play small in business is lack of implementation. And that goes back to accountability. Once again, the truth of the matter is, it's not just what you learn, right? It's what you implement. It's what you get done. And there's some people who know they hear, but they don't do, or they kind of do, and they're not full implementers. And I think one of the reasons that women play small in business is when we don't completely implement the things that we don't like to do. I know I called you out, right? Like I know it. But the fact of the matter is, you have to make that decision that if your goal is to get from where you are right now to where you want to be, implementation is key. And that means not skipping steps. I mean, there are things that I've had to do over the years that I have not liked. Okay, I did not want to do. That scared me. But I knew that in order for me to realize the goals that I had to implement some of the things I didn't like to do because they were essential for my business in order for my business to grow. Is this making sense? I want to check in for a minute, even if you're watching this as a replay or if you're watching this live. Are you getting value? Are you understanding what I'm sharing with you? And is it resonating with you? Because I wanted to talk about this because it's just one of those things that we could convince ourselves when we're already in business, I'm doing everything, right? And I'm in the business of listening to people who've told me they're already in business and they've done a lot of things and what's not working. And a lot of times what isn't working is, number one, the vision is too small. Number two, they're in a circle that isn't growing, or there's superficial growth, like I just mentioned. And number three, there's a lack of implementation. These people are skipping steps and saying, hey, I did everything. And then when I say, like, okay, you said you had done this, you did this, and you realize like you didn't do number two and you didn't do number four. And the reason that your business isn't where you want it to be is because you aren't implementing right? Wholeheartedly. You're picking and choosing what steps you're going to take. And it's painful to understand that about yourself, but it's also really important. Number four. The fourth way that women play small in business is I call this the imposter syndrome. And the way I look at imposter syndrome is there are two ways. One is when you copy others, right? You're an imposter, okay? Like straight, okay, you are amazing as you are. And understanding that is so important. And I think that whenever you think that someone else's ideas are better or what someone else is doing is higher than your own, you're an imposter. And almost always it is a sign of just not really being able to value and own all that you bring to the table. So think about that, okay? But being an imposter syndrome also means that a lot of entrepreneurs have heard the term fake it until you make it, which is like the silliest thing ever, right? Why would you fake it until you make it? If anything, what you do is you show up with what it is that you do that's magnificent. You don't have to show up with a fake version of what it is that you know how to do. Show up with what you really know how to do exceptionally well, and you can talk about it all day, every day. And that's your level of expertise, and you never have to fake being all of who you are. When people are faking, they're being something other than themselves, and it makes you uncomfortable. It means that really you don't get to own and operate in your own power because you're not being all of yourself. One of the first things that I get clients to do is strip away all the fakeness. Like literally, you don't have to be a version of someone else or something that you've seen on social media. You can simply just be who you are. And if you're into being all of who you are, then you're going to love all the coaching that I provide my clients because I'm into that. And I built a business being authentic and being myself, right? Take me as I am, right? Number five, okay? The fifth reason why I believe women play small in business is that they are afraid to shine. Everybody take a breath, okay? They're afraid to shine. And the reason that happens is because sometimes when we've shined over the years, you get your hand slapped, right? Like you've heard things like, you're being egotistical. You may have heard like that's narcissistic. You may have said like you're being braggy or braggadocious and things like that. And I just want to say this to you that if you're in business, the reason that someone's going to want to work with you is because you got to tell them what it is that you do exceptionally well. And that means you've got to have the ability to own and know what those things are. This idea of not being all of who you are and knowing what your expertise is and being able to properly communicate it publicly to others and being comfortable with that to make other people feel okay is not okay. And again, it goes back to the circles that you're a part of and making sure you're around people that really want you to rise. I love being in the company of giants, and I love watching women shine, stand tall in their value, be all of who they are. And I believe truly that if you're truly a giant, you love being in the company of other giants. The only people that don't are ants. It makes them feel inferior. It makes them feel smaller, right? And think about it. Ant is inside of the word giant. All right. So I want you to really think about that the next time you are in your business, you play small or you dumb down what you do. You don't say all of, what your accomplishments are because you're like, this is like too much. Maybe people have told you, you're being an extra, you're just way too much. But typically most people who are out of the box are out of the box. One of the things that really changed the way I looked at thinking out of the box, I'll never forget this. My family, we were on vacation in the Outer Banks, and the Wright brothers, the brothers that created the airplane, and we went to visit the grounds where their museum is, and you saw their story and you saw some of the first planes. And I watched one of these videos that would show these planes taking off at that time, right, with their footage, and how they would just crash, and how the people in town would just laugh because they're like, oh, how weird is that, right? They want to create a bird that flies in the sky and has other people travel on that bird, right? People laugh sometimes when you're an out of the box person, but let them laugh. Go do you and be you. When I got started in my business years ago, I was told by a director of a small business resource center that no one would ever pay me to be a mom, coach, to do mom coaching, and that I should go back and get a training job. And I say that to you because sometimes people are not, they're not as visionary or as you. And if you take advice from people who have never done the things that you have done, you're going to get that kind of advice, right? So don't be afraid to shine, show up for yourself, be brave for yourself, trust yourself to be all of who you are. Number six, the sixth reason why women play small in business, in my opinion, is lack of examples. So if you don't have a lot of big examples of women being successful or men being successful in business, it's one of the reasons why often we play small or we see these small examples. Most of us are familiar and surrounded by a lot of people who work, in the conventional sense, 9 to 5 or, 10 to 6 or whatever it is, right? Committed to the workplace. And we're not around as much out of the box kind of thinking with entrepreneurs who have just done incredible things. I've always just made it a practice for myself to be connected to people who do things bigger than me, people who have accomplished and done things that allow me to grow or see something completely different than I would have ever seen, I would have never seen in my lifetime. And I hope that if you don't have a circle like that you decide that that's something that you deserve. It's one of the greatest gifts you could give yourself, if you want to grow your business, is to be in the company of what I call giants, people your own ambition level and above. And I'm going to talk a little bit about an opportunity that I have for those of you who might be interested in a live event. I've got a new event coming in November, and I have some incredible speakers that will mentor you during that event. And then number seven, the seventh reason that women play small in business, in my opinion, is needing to be liked. And so, it's true. We often want to be liked. And because we want to be liked, we don't want to face what we think is confrontation. What could confrontation look like in business? It might be standing in your value. It might be deciding I'm only going to work with this one type of demographic and not this type of demographic. It might be charging higher prices, right? It might be deciding I'm not going to work with this particular group because of maybe they're just not congruent with who you are, or they don't respect and value what it is that you do. And I see this all the time. And I will tell you, like, for me, one of the things that I've learned over the years is that how I use my talents is very important. Your talents are your gifts. It's like your God-given gifts, right? And I use them to elevate people. And I don't use them in any way to convince people. You know what I mean? Like, you ever have a client, you want to drag that client to success? Doesn't work. And actually, it really prevents you from being able to work with the people who really want to work with you. So, but a lot of times we have that need to be liked. And because of it, that need to be liked, we end up in relationships in business that we should not be a part of. We end up saying yes to collaborations and partnerships that are just not good for us. And we don't know how to get out of them. And I've just learned a long time ago that it's okay for me to pick my jacks up and say, this is not congruent with what is good, highest of highest good. And if you haven't yet gotten to that place, I will tell you it's a muscle worth building. Now, here's the other piece of it. If you have a need to be liked and you then say, let's say you have, I'm making this up, but let's say you have clients that they don't pay you, right? And you cut their services off because they don't pay you or whatever it is, right? They're not going to like you, okay? Like, they're, but because that's controversial. But you have to set a boundary for yourself when that happens. Let's say you have a client that wants more services than what they pay for, right? You know how sometimes you have like, I see this sometimes in restaurants where people will eat a whole meal and then say they don't like it, right? Like I watched someone do this recently, and I thought to myself, that's just the craziest thing, right? But because they wanted to be liked, they didn't have boundaries. And when you don't have boundaries, those people just come back and do the same thing over and over again, which the waiter said, like, this person comes back every month and basically sends a good portion of their food back so they can eat for free, right? So maybe you have something like that, right? And you're not setting those boundaries. It's really important. You got to understand that people who are meant to be in your life will respect you. People who get great value from your gifts and your talents will respect what they're getting. And that's just how it goes, right? You don't have to work with people who aren't that way. And it'll free you up to be able to work with the right people. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but that's one of the reasons that I think women play small in business is they want to be liked, so they don't set boundaries, and they are concerned about what everyone thinks. And the truth of the matter is, whatever people think of you is not your business. It has nothing to do with you, right? And my motto is always that I'm in business to help elevate and grow people who are ready. You got to be ready, okay? You got to have the mindset. You got to have the heart and the implementation, and got to be teachable. And that a lot of times, particularly like in coaching and consulting, you're working with people who are growing over time and they haven't done a lot of the mindset work. And so when you're asking them to rise and they don't want to rise, they want you to come down to their level and do things their way. And you've got to set those boundaries for yourself. And I know that I just helped somebody say that's exactly it. But I hope that really supports you. And maybe that's been the thing in your business that's been getting in the way. All right. So today, what I shared are 7 reasons why I believe women play small in business. Any ahas or takeaways as a result of you being here today, I would love to hear from you. I'll recap quickly, right? So if you have any ahas or takeaways, you can post them here. Number 1, if your vision is too small, it's one of the reasons why you play small in business, because having a small vision is never going to motivate you during the difficult times. It's never going to excite you in the morning to pop out of bed and go for it. Number 2, the second reason that I wrote that women play small in business is that they're part of a circle that isn't growing, or what I call a superficial circle. So sometimes you can be in a circle, it looks good, it smells good, everybody's dressed up, and it all feels good. But at the end of the day, people really aren't growing. And what that looks like, and I gave an example, is let's say someone that says, hey, I'm going to sell something for the first time for 10 grand. And they've never done it before. And they go an entire year part of a group and they never hold themselves accountable to do it. And they're in a group with people who allow them to do that. There's no accountability around their growth. That's superficial, right? Like that's superficial growth. Because ultimately, a great peer circle is going to say, what are you doing about that? What steps are you going to take? What are you going to do next week? And if you're not talking about the things that matter, then you're not growing the things that matter. So that's really important. Number 3, lack of implementation. It's just what it is, right? So at the end of the day, sometimes people pick and choose what they want to do and they skip steps. And if you're one of those people, it's one of the reasons why women often play small in business. You got to do the whole thing, right, in order for you to get the results. Number 4, imposter syndrome. And I think that what that looks like is whenever you are copying what someone else does, in my opinion, I mean, some people say, hey, it's brilliant, right? Like they did it, it worked, like do it. But I think that there's this other piece like that is called intuition. It's called like self-knowing. It's called like self-trust, divine guidance. It doesn't get to work with you when all of your great answers are outside of yourself. And I hope that supports somebody in understanding what that looks like. It's one of the reasons that I think people play small. They Google search everything, they figure out what they should do, and then they admire people who are leading from the front. And I got to tell you, when I get up in the morning, that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about leading from the front, literally. Number 5, being afraid to shine. And afraid to shine just simply means like what it is. Like, because of programming, because of life, because of feedback from being great, sometimes we get these messages that say, play it down a little. Don't tell your full story. You know what I mean? It's not about you. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about in business, the reason that someone wants to work with you is because you're great at what you do. And I need to know that. So if you're not communicating, then I hope this helps you. Number 6, lack of examples. Like imagine if you don't have the examples of people who are really doing great and amazing things, then when you see what it could look like, it really drives you in a completely different way. And I love to surround my peer circle with people who are just doing, they're giants in every way. And then number 7, the need to be liked. And sometimes the need to be liked keeps you from setting the boundaries, saying what you need to say, ending whatever you need to end, starting over when you need to start, right? Working with whoever you decide you want to work, whatever it is, right? Like whatever that can look like. And you can't run a great company, right? If you play small and that you are caring about people who care less about you. What I've learned over the years is that people who really do care about you, right? I don't care who they are, family, friends, clients, associates, people in the community, they care about you. And they demonstrate it with their behavior. And whenever you experience behavior that is not congruent with that, I always say, pick your jacks up and you go and play in a different playground. Play on a different playground. Play where you are respected and your gifts are, you can use your gifts more bountiful. It's just a heavy lift to play in a place where people aren't willing to grow mentally. And as a result of that, they just cannot receive all of what you bring to the table. Does that make sense? All right. I hope that this supported you in some way. I told you that I was also going to share with you an opportunity to come to my last event of this year. I'm so excited. Like when I tell you, I'm excited. I'm so excited. Okay. I am hosting my last event of this year. It'll be November 10th through 12th, Veterans Day weekend. And it'll be in Baltimore. And it's called the Cell Method. And it's a system that I created um, over the last 21 years. I looked at what is it that I've done to create systematic success in my business. And I'm going to share for the very first time the process, the cell method of what I've used to be able to consistently be able to grow my business and to own the dreams that I've had. Not to have them just as thoughts, but to realize them, whether that is, to build an amazing coaching practice, or whether it is to decide I'm going to travel the world, right? And work from anywhere in the world, or model what time rich looks like for me, or having the courage to, to do TV or to pitch corporate deals, or whatever it is that I've decided. And I know that many women will benefit from understanding the process that I have used over the years to stand in my own value. And it's just not hype. It's something that every single person can do once you understand the steps to do it. So I'll teach that during the Cell Method conference. Equally, you're going to learn about the elevated practices that it takes really be able to realize your goals. I think sometimes what's missing, it's like people are so focused today on like the funnel and what the package is and all that kind of stuff that they're missing it. The truth of the matter is what makes you successful are your practices. If I see someone who's successful, the greatest question I have for them is like, what are your habits? What are your habits of mind? Right? What is it that you're doing? What is it that you're thinking? Right? Because that's what allows them to show up and create different relationships and ask for more from life. So the cell method, I'll share those methods with you that I've used over the years. And then equally, I always teach on how to leverage and package what you do, right? Your expertise, your education, and your experience at the highest level as a high ticket product. And you'll have the opportunity to do that. And you'll learn how to leverage equally your team so that you can build a business that is not administratively heavy and that is exceptionally profitable on your own terms. And then I've invited some really terrific mentors to join me. And they're terrific. Okay. Like terrific. And I'm going to just post a link here for the cell method. Let me just do that here. Okay. I have to grab the link. 1 second. Let me grab it real quick. Hopefully you guys didn't lose me. Okay. That's the link for the cell method. I'll type the page up in a minute. And maybe I'll pull the page up. 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay, so here it is. This is the cell method. And the focus is to help you shift your life and your business to the best version ever. And you'll be able to, when you go to the page, see what my clients, my beautiful clients, have said as a result of working with me. Their words, not mine. But in a weekend, my goal is to help you to build an incredible business based on leverage, and helping you to get greater freedom and to become more confident making your offer, and learning how to close, and how to license, and how to shift your habits, right? And systematic ways to package what you do at the highest level, effective ways to generate quality leads, and how to meet women your own ambition level above, and working with people who are proven. Because today, that's the thing that's missing, is that a lot of people are not proven. And so what I wrote here was, and I love this, and I thought of it the other day. What we know is that living our best life happens when we can trust ourselves enough to be, do, and show the world the most gigantic version of our beliefs, right? Isn't that true? Like, it's so deep. But here are the event mentors, and they are just awesome. And so Dan Giuliani is a board certified physician. But what Dan does exceptionally well, he works with top gurus, and I cannot say the names, top gurus, and he helps them with their AI, programming their AI to generate leads, right? So whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or some YouTube or Google, he is a genius at being able to help you take what you're doing in your marketing, use tech to bring your leads directly to you. And I've worked with Dan directly. He's super, he's awesome. He's helped me make multi-millions of dollars with his direct approach. And I wanted to bring someone to you who's proven, who I know has helped me, okay, be successful, not someone that's projecting success, but he's been in business over 20 years, and I know he can help you. Then there's Joyce Bone, who's been an incredible mentor to me over the years. And she started a business when she was 28. She has such a unique story. She's the only entrepreneur that I know that has two companies. She's built two companies from ground up that have been valued at over $100 million. Her first company achieved $125 million in revenue, and became a NASDAQ traded company when public. She's incredible. She's incredible. And I think one of the things that you'll love about her and you'll recognize is that she thinks differently. She thinks big. She owns her bigness. She knows how to pitch. She knows how to close, and she knows how to trust herself. Family is important to her. Faith is important to her. And Dan, the same. And I love showing you and introducing you to people who really get it. And then there's Damon, who's also just such a great entrepreneur and mentor as well. Damon is awesome. And one of the things that he's done is he started as a talent agent, and he does licensing deals for stars. And he's done a lot of those kind of things. Some of his packaging has included doing the Dog Whisperer, the television show Pawn Stars, or Joan and Melissa's Rivers and Hotel Impossible. He did a lot of the packaging deals for them. He's also worked as a brand manager for the largest online furniture seller, which is Christopher Knight. I know you guys know Christopher. And, just done tons of things, right? The Miami Docs that was on OWN Network, the Dog Whisperer brand, the HGTV with Lisa Laporta and Clive Pierce, and so many others, right? So I wanted to bring in mentors that would speak to you and teach you on how to license and how to think about pitching at the biggest, highest, and tallest level, how to market. And then I would teach you equally how to package what you do at the highest level, which is what I do all the time, but giving you the mindset that you need and the tools you need to be successful. I'm so excited about the event. You'll be able to go to the page. I just posted the link here, and see for yourself what people who've worked with me over the years have shared their experience has been. So the Sell Method Agenda will run over 3 days. We cover mindset, purpose, and profitability. And the way that each of these speakers are going to talk to you is just, they're proven, okay? And I wanted to bring you, every single person in the room has made multi-millions. Okay. So you're not getting someone that's working with someone that's working with someone that's kind of a millionaire projected speaking in the future. You're having the opportunity to talk to people who've created great results. And I think that's really important. I'm all about that. Right. And I also understand during this time, you just don't know what to believe because everybody says that they can do it. Every single person taking my stage has been in business over 20 years. Okay. And why do I think that's important? Very important because you've had the opportunity to have good times, bad times, and to overcome them, right? And still be standing. And there's a level of wisdom of standing on the shoulders of people who've created amazing companies that way and to have the opportunity to learn from them. Um, I always say, like, what are the chances you could ever get that group of people in the room at the exact same time? I don't know. But I've arranged that for you. So here's the coolest part. The event is $24.97, $2,497. If you say yes today, right? You get access to the early bird pricing, so you get $500 off. So $1,997 if you say yes today. All right. And then equally, if you decide that's if you want a VIP ticket, and a VIP ticket includes 3 days of the full conference, right? Access to all the speakers. You also get access to our Giants Night Soiree, which is always awesome. Great night of appetizers, connections, and conversations. You get reserved seating. You get a VIP Q&A session with me. You get lunches daily. You get the sale method training guide. You get the VIP bag with your workbook and event. And you get a post-event debrief call. So that's in the VIP package and, pretty cool. And there's also a payment plan option. So if you decide you want to do VIP, you can do it as a payment plan as well. And let me see, the payment plan is $998.50, right? So if you decide you're doing the payment plan, it's $998.50, the 2 payments. That's it. Pretty straightforward. All right. And then there's the general admission ticket. Okay. So the ticket is $19.97 if you purchase it today, meaning for early bird, during the early bird, then it's $1,497. You save $500. So again, you get 3 days access to the conference. You get to come to the soiree, and you get all of the cell method training materials as well. So I just wanted to make this attainable so that we have a group of people who are ready. And if you're ready and you want something proven, okay, like without hype, this is going to be for you. So I'm really excited to have the opportunity to bring that to my community. I'm so excited. But it's not for everyone. It's really for that person that really values something that's seasoned, right? And that you want advice that when someone tells you this, it works, right? And I chose all of the experts equally because all of them have families that matter to them, and they're actively engaged with their families. And that to me is really important. Building your business around your life is what I'm all about, right? So if there are any questions for me, I'll answer them. I did post a link here for the cell method. I'll be talking about it over and over again. The cell method, I'm not breaking down what's in it, right? You just know it's going to rock. It's going to rock your world, because the moment that you say anything on the internet, then you have all the duplicators that say, I'm going to duplicate it. So you have to come to the event to learn the method, okay, and apply it. But I promise you, it'll change your life. That's my only goal, is to support you with showing up tall for yourself and being absolutely amazing and fabulous. All right. I hope that this has supported you tonight. Did you guys get value, or did you get value? I'll be coming on frequently to share the cell method. We've got in 8 weeks, the event goes live. So if you're going to commit, you need to sign up today so that you can make room, let your family know what you're going to do. It's Veterans Day weekend, November 10th through 12th in Baltimore, Maryland. So, so that's that. And that's it. You're going to meet some amazing people. I have an opportunity to learn what you're doing and help you to up-level what you're doing so that you run right into 2024 and you crush your goals. So if you're into that and you're ready to crush your goals, the event is for you, right? So I'm so excited to have had the opportunity to share with you tonight. Why do I think that women play small in business? I hope that you got value from this, and then also just to introduce to you the cell method event happening in November in Baltimore. All right, last call. Any questions, comments? And even if you're watching a replay, you can always DM me, right? If you DM me and let me know your questions, we'll answer you directly around about those questions regarding the event. All right. I love you. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great and amazing night.